Hey y'all. So I was on my way to work this morning and I was listening to the news and some podcasts, and I had done some reading in the last few days about this California billionaires tax. And it's something I really think we need to talk about doing, not just in California, but nationally. Now, the reason I think we need to have this conversation on a national level is honestly so that these billionaires can't just skip town and move from California to Florida or Texas or Nashville, I don't know, wherever the heck they're going, just to get away from their taxes, right? So if we implement this nationally, the idea would then be for that same amount of money to go back to the states to fund whatever they need, right? In California, we're talking about using it to fund healthcare and education, which I love. I love this. I have a little bit of argument with the percentage splits between where we want to put that money, but that's a conversation, right? That's not a deal breaker. That's a let's chat. Anyway, we're going to have a little bit of a math test today, okay? And the reason we're going to do this is because I think it's really hard to understand and really wrap your head around the concept of how much a billion really is. And I saw this great video forever ago, and I wish I could remember the name of the creator, but this guy did a thing where he showed you single grain of rice, 100 grains of rice, 1,000, and then he weighed out 1,000,000. And he was trying to really explain sort of the order of magnitude by using rice. Now, we're going to talk about a billion. And as much as I would love to do so, I actually cannot afford 1,000,000,000 grains of rice. I don't think most of us can. And here's why. A single grain of rice, long grain white rice is what I'm using as my measurement, weighs roughly 21 milligrams. Now, it is an agricultural product, so some weigh 20, some weigh 22, but average is about 21 milligrams. Now, you don't need to know how much that weighs. If you've ever made or eaten rice, you know a single grain of rice is not very big and does not weigh very much. So, 21 milligrams. A billion, I had to write this down. A billion grains of rice would weigh 46,297 pounds. That comes out to roughly 23 tons. Think about that in money. It's absurd. It's absurd. 23 tons. Now, this billionaires tax is 5% over 5 years, right? So doing that math again, that's roughly $50 million over 5 years. Going back to our rice and weights analogy here, 50 million comes out to just slightly over 1 ton. So 50 million grains of rice is 2,315 pounds, like I said, marginally over 1 ton. So for every 23 tons worth of rice, we're asking them to give up 1. So here's my question. If you were a farmer and you farmed rice and you had 23 tons worth of harvest, and everyone around you in your community was starving, would you give up 1 ton of rice for your community? You got to keep the other 22, right? Out of 23, you keep 22 for you, yourself, and your family. But we ask you to give up 1 ton for your starving community. Do you think that's fair? I do. To be honest, I think you should probably ask for a little more. This is what these billionaires are fighting against. Having to give up 1 out of every 23 tons. In dollars, it's no different, right? This money is going to be used to fund our children's educations, to make sure that we have kids that can read and do math. It's going to be used to fund healthcare, to make sure that people can get their medication for their insulin, for their EpiPens, for their heart disease, for their whatever is going on, right? Their cancer medications. This should not be this difficult of a conversation. The fact that we have billionaires that are spending an equal amount of money on their ad campaigns to get you to vote against this, I saw something the other day, and I can't remember who it is. I'm pretty sure I do, but I don't want to say it on one of these videos and then be wrong. But I saw something about one of these California state billionaires is so far spent $46 million on ad campaigns to get you to vote against this bill. He could have just paid the tax. That these people are so worried about paying a tax that they'd rather spend the money to try to convince you that it is not in your best interest for them to fund your healthcare or for them to help fund your children's educations, because that's un-American. No, I don't think it is. I think when we are at our best as Americans, we come together as communities, we come together as a society, and we get some stuff handled. We take care of each other. That is when we are at our best. I don't think we're asking too much of people who have built companies here, of people who have employees here, yes, sure, and have given back to their communities in those ways. But they also have revenue drivers here, right? We also buy their products. I don't think it is too much to ask as somebody who just lives here to also help take care of this community as a country, as a city, as a state, whatever that is. My name is Alicia Cordes, and I'm running for Congress because somebody has got to be able to sit in these halls, talk these numbers, and hold these people accountable. Not just here in the state of California, but across our nation. We need somebody who is going to stand up and tell these people that you don't get to pretend that you are all by yourself on your little ivory tower mountain over here. You are part of this community. You are an American. You have an American company. You live, work, and raise your kids here too, right? That's what societies are, people. So let's get back to it. I think we can. My name is Alicia Cordes. I'm running for Congress.